My beloved child, breathe and do not move, because this is one of those rare moments when time bends and listens and the wind itself pauses at your window to deliver what you were meant to hear since the day your name was first spoken in heaven. I know you have skipped messages before and you trained your thumb to flee from what feels too holy or too heavy, but this time the air around you has shifted and the next 10 seconds carry a turning that will follow you for years. Keep your eyes here, because an unseen door is unlocking and what steps through it will not be stopped by fear, delay, or the habit of running away. You woke up with a pressure in your chest that felt like a quiet shout, and you blamed the weather, or the noise of the world, or the memory of someone who once held your heart and let it drop. The world taught you to ignore your inner alarms the way people ignore distant thunder until the rain is already falling on their face. Right now your spirit hears the click of a key in a lock and your mind is trying to explain it away, but explanation is not the same as destiny and analysis is not the same as arrival. You have wondered if your life will always circle the same few streets of disappointment, if you will always stand at windows and imagine the life happening on the other side of the glass, if every good thing is for other people whose names are easier to love. The pattern that kept you small has been breaking in secret like ice at midnight, and the sound of it reached heaven long before you woke. A hand you cannot see has already moved the pieces on the table while you were busy surviving the hour in front of you. A message has been trying to reach you like a persistent knock that refuses to be offended by your delay, and the messenger chose this moment because your soul is finally tired of being almost ready. There is a softness in you today that was hard yesterday, and that softness attracts miracles the way open soil attracts rain. Your future is full of green that wants to burst through the ground and greet your feet with new paths. You felt the tremor in your life and labeled it anxiety or coincidence because that is what life trained you to do, but this tremor is good news dressed as urgency. The sound you keep hearing in your spirit is not danger but the final boarding call for the flight you kept missing because you packed too much of what hurt you. The gate is open, the seat is yours, and the runway has the imprint of your name pressed into light. I am placing a calm over you now the way morning places quiet over a city before the first bus sighs into motion. Your heartbeat begins to understand that it is safe to trust something that does not demand proof at sword point. The proof you want will arrive inside the peace that just sat down in your chest like a familiar friend who finally found your door. There is a reason the date reads today and not some distant symbolic moment, because heaven writes in real calendars and loves the specificity of your hours. There is a reason the words you are reading feel like a hand on the exact place you are defending, because you were never meant to carry your life like luggage you cannot put down. I am not asking you to be strong enough for the entire road, only soft enough for the first step and honest enough to admit the step is here. You carry a radiant stubbornness that refuses to die even when you bury it under other people's opinions, and that stubbornness is holy and good. You have been rehearsing losses so long your hope learned to whisper, but today your hope learns to sing again because the rehearsal is over and the curtain is rising whether or not you feel prepared. Do not worry about your lines because your spirit memorized them before your mouth knew how to form them. Archangel Micheal bends near you with a shield that remembers every blow you survived and a sword that knows the doorways of fear by name. He does not come to frighten you but to stand at your side like a wall of bright certainty and to walk with you through the room you avoided because the lights felt too harsh. He is not interested in spectacle, only in the clean efficiency of protection, and his presence is the reason the room you fear now feels strangely safe. The old accusation that follows you like a shadow at noon now loses its voice and its teeth and its right to sit at your table. The habit of shrinking when love enters the room is dissolving the way fog dissolves under a patient sun. The echo of unkind words no longer dictates your decisions because your heart has received a new script written in mercy. You will notice a signal within the next moments because heaven loves to mark a turning with a simple sign that cannot be choreographed by coincidence. A notification on your device will carry a name or word that seems small but lands with the weight of recognition, or a familiar scent will pass you where no source is visible, or a song will begin at the exact sentence you are reading and the lyric will echo your private ache. This is not superstition and not a trick because I refuse to tease the broken-hearted with empty parlor games. Your eyes are adjusting to a new brightness, and that is why the present feels tender in places you used to hide. The tenderness is not weakness but evidence that your armor has understood its job is complete and that the season for softness has begun. The softness will not make you a target because I have assigned strength to walk beside it the way a mountain stands beside a valley. You have always been more than what happened to you and more than who failed to stay, and that truth returns to you now like a letter that was lost in the wrong mailbox and finally delivered by a kind neighbor. The letter is simple and it says you are not late, not forgotten, not too complicated to love. The letter says your name like a promise and your future like a sunrise. There is someone who once looked at you and misread the map of your worth, and you carried their misreading as if it were gospel law. Today their error is returned to sender and the paper of it is dissolved in the river of your becoming. You will not build a house from the wood of their confusion, and you will not sleep on the floor of their limitations. You will notice your breathing deepen as if your lungs have discovered extra rooms that were kept closed for years. You will sit up straighter without trying, and your face will soften without instruction because the body listens when the soul accepts an answer. The answer arriving for you today does not require you to beg because begging is not the language of children who belong. I am setting before you a path that looks like what you always wanted but were afraid to name out loud. The path does not punish you for past delays because time is not a jailer in my country and mercy is not a coupon that expires. Every experience you regret is now recycled into wisdom that makes your steps efficient and kind. You have been loyal to the wrong versions of yourself because you thought loyalty meant never evolving. Real loyalty means honoring the truth that keeps growing inside you and letting the versions that no longer fit bless you as they leave. You are not betraying yourself by changing, you are betraying yourself by refusing to. The next doors will not need you to knock until your knuckles bleed because they were made for your hand and they open at your approach. I have arranged conversations where your name will be spoken with respect in rooms you have not yet entered. The introduction you need is on its way, and it arrives wearing humility and clarity rather than flash and noise. Archangel Micheal adjusts the edges of your path the way a craftsman sands wood until the grain is smooth under the palm. He is clearing interference that used to sneak into your hours like static on a radio signal that should be clear. The frequency of your calling grows stable and strong, and you will hear it without straining. You once promised yourself to settle for half because half seemed safer than the ache of waiting for whole, but your spirit is allergic to halves and it always has been. The reason small rooms make you restless is because you were never designed to shrink to fit a timid life. The architecture of your destiny includes high ceilings and long windows and wide tables where laughter fits. This is not about punishment for what you missed, it is about celebration for what you learned while you were wandering circles in the wilderness of nearly. You learned patience and discernment and how to recognize the taste of peace on your tongue. Peace tastes like clean water after a long climb, and you are drinking it now without guilt. The people who are meant to love you next will recognize you by the quiet in your eyes and the steadiness in your step. You will not audition for their affection because the role belongs to you by design and not by accident. You will not perform neediness to secure their attention because neediness is not your native tongue. You will safeguard your mornings the way a guardian safeguards the gate, and you will treat your rest like a temple instead of a leftover. The way you speak to yourself in the first 10 minutes after you wake will become a doorway rather than a ditch. You will not narrate old failures in a new day because new days deserve new language. Your work will carry light in its seams and your hands will leave warmth on everything they touch. You will produce what you were jealous of because jealousy was always the misdirected energy of recognition. You were not angry that others had it, you were grieving that you had not said yes to your own blueprint. I am returning to you the hour you thought you wasted and the joy you thought you broke, and I am doing it in such a way that your memory of loss no longer burns but teaches. The bitterness will no longer sit on your tongue because sweetness has arrived and it is not artificial. You will be able to remember without reliving. You will manage your boundaries with quiet authority, and your yes will carry weight because your no has finally learned to stand. You will not confuse access with love, and you will not grant audience to voices that use your heart as a stage for their insecurity. Your soul is not community property and your peace is not up for auction. Your hands will sign for packages of goodness at unexpected hours, and you will smile at how ordinary the delivery looks compared to how extraordinary the contents feel. You will look back and realize that simple obedience to a gentle nudge altered the geography of your story. The miracle will wear the clothes of normal, and that is how it always chooses to travel. Archangel Micheal watches the crossroads and signals when the light turns green, and you will move without the old dizziness. You will not second-guess permission that has already been granted, and you will not apologize for being ready. The road ahead respects you because you finally respect yourself. There is a person whose presence once turned your nervous system into a skittish animal, and you mistook that chaos for chemistry. Your body now understands the difference between thrill and threat, and you will feel it like a soft refusal rising from your center. The peace test will guide you, and peace will always choose you back. You will not hoard your gifts in the name of modesty, because hiding is not humility and shrinking serves no one. Your voice will not ask for forgiveness every time it speaks, because your words are medicine, and medicine does not apologize for healing. You will tell the truth in rooms where you once performed, and truth will do the heavy lifting. Your finances will experience the kind of order that creates overflow without strain, and you will marvel at how numbers behave when peace is in charge. You will become a good caretaker of what enters your hands, and generosity will feel like play rather than sacrifice. The opportunities that approach you will match your character and not just your skill. You will honor your body with rest and movement and food that feels like respect, because you are building a life that your health can trust. Your reflection in the mirror will stop flinching because you no longer weaponize your own gaze. You will wear color on days you used to choose gray, because color is a language of courage. The apology you owe yourself for staying too long in rooms that loved your silence more than your sound is now paid in full by the future I am handing you. You forgive yourself without keeping score, and your future responds by growing gentle and bright. The scoreboard that once kept tally of mistakes has been dismantled plank by plank. You are not fragile, and you are not doomed, and you are not cursed, and you are not late. You are the right person standing at the right door with the right key at the right hour, and the click you hear is history giving way. The story will not collapse, it will expand, and you will be able to breathe all the way down to the bottom of your lungs. This moment is a hinge, and your life is the door, and I am the one who swings it open, because the room beyond it was designed for your steps. Every yes you give to what is true about you becomes a lamp on the path, and the path does not end at the first curve. You will walk it with shoulders relaxed and eyes steady. The ache that once felt like a permanent resident becomes a visitor that knows it cannot stay, because hope signed the lease. You will sleep with the window open to let in the night's soft honesty, and wake to a morning that walks toward you like a faithful friend. The next chapter is not waiting for permission from your past, because your past is not the author anymore. You are surrounded and supported and guarded and guided, and this is not a slogan but a structural reality of your life. You are held in a way that does not drop, forget, or grow bored. You are seen in a way that does not misinterpret, diminish, or distort. You will notice the absence of dread the way a room notices when a loud refrigerator finally stops humming and everything inside you smiles at the quiet. You will notice joy on ordinary sidewalks, and gratitude in simple errands, and love sneaking into hours that used to feel empty. The great transformation arrives looking like a normal day that refuses to be ordinary. Your heart now receives an instruction that feels like a melody you recognize from a place beyond memory. The instruction is to choose the next right thing with a courage that does not shake, and to let goodness find you without the old game of hide and seek. The melody becomes your stride, and your stride becomes your testimony. You will keep your promises to yourself because you finally believe you are worth keeping. You will follow through on what you start because sabotage has lost your address and delay has lost your number. You will not burn bridges you need to cross, and you will not rebuild bridges that lead to harm. What others meant for diminishment becomes material for your crown, and the weight of it is light because your head was built for this. You carry dignity without stiffness, and compassion without collapse, and authority without arrogance. People feel safe in your presence because you learn to feel safe in your own. This is the hour when your private prayers step into public answers, and your hidden patience blooms where others can see. The bloom does not ask the dirt to apologize for the journey, because the dirt was a teacher and the seed needed its darkness. You thank the night and you walk into the day. The version of you that feared this moment is allowed to rest because it kept you alive long enough to reach it. You honor that version and release it with gratitude because the new you holds the map now. The destination is no longer a rumor but a street with your feet on it. The rhythm of your life simplifies into 3 strong beats that repeat like breathing, and each beat says grace, growth, glory. Grace for what was, growth for what is, glory for what will be. You move to this rhythm without rehearsal because it is already in your bones. Every place you felt invisible now lights up around you the way a runway lights when a pilot touches down at night. You land inside yourself with relief and you realize you are home even as you head toward new lands. Coming home to yourself is the first miracle, and it makes room for all the others. You will not negotiate with shame because shame has nothing to offer you that you want. You will not entertain confusion longer than it takes to ask for clarity because confusion is not a personality, it is a passing weather pattern. You will not perform exhaustion as proof you deserve rest because rest is your birthright. From this hour forward you measure progress by peace and not by panic. You measure influence by how much love you leave behind and not by noise. You measure success by alignment and not by applause. The word over your life today is open, and it rests on your shoulders like a warm shawl that fits perfectly. Open doors, open conversations, open provision, open timing, open courage. Open eyes to see that what you asked for is arriving with a calm that makes you smile. You will sign your name to new pages and you will not tremble because your hand is steadied by purpose. You will close old accounts of pain and you will not worry about what balance remains because I am the one who settles debts in your favor. You will begin again without the insult of starting over because nothing is wasted. Your future approaches in kindness and it will not shout to be heard because it does not need to bully you into trust. It comes wearing the clothes of good routine and clear boundaries and faithful relationships and work that honors your gift. It comes with laughter that does not mock and silence that does not threaten. The next 10 seconds hold a seal and it is pressed into the wax of your wool with firmness and gentleness at the same time. When the seal touches, you will feel a warm certainty at the base of your throat and a cooling over your mind that clears the clutter. You will know without drama that the turning has happened and you will walk as if the ground itself is guiding you. Remember this hour the way a city remembers rain after a long dry season. Remember the sound your heart made when it realized it was allowed to rest and rise. Remember the simple miracle of staying present for your own life. Carry this word like a lantern that never needs batteries because its light is borrowed from a sun that does not set. Carry it into rooms that tried to convince you they were your limit and watch how walls politely become doors. Carry it into conversations with yourself and listen to how your voice changes when you refuse to speak against your own soul. You are ready and the world is ready for you, and timing is no longer a fight but a choreography. You will feel led and you will feel supported and you will feel strong in ways that do not require hardness. You will feel loved and you will let yourself believe it without a courtroom of objections. Walk forward now with the calm certainty of someone escorted by angels and expected by destiny. Walk like someone who knows the difference between hurry and holy and chooses holy every time. Walk with your head high, your shoulders soft, and your heart awake. The message you once skipped has found you and it will not leave you again because it lives inside you now. The turning has happened and the grace to live it has been placed in your hands like water you will never run out of. The unexpected thing that entered your next 10 seconds is the simplest truth of all, that you are loved, chosen, protected, and prepared, and nothing in this world is heavy enough to take that away. If you feel led to support this message and the work it inspires, you can use the Super Thanks option to express your gratitude in the way that feels right to you.